Hello, I'm Daniel Boys, and I'm here on Musicalworld.tv talking about So Close, my debut album.
Nou, dan zijn we er. In een compleet nieuwe omgeving, in de John Gielgud Theater. Maar het gaat niet om Avenue Q, we gaan het hebben over zijn album So Close, out since the 1st of June. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
How have you been doing since our last interview, February 28th?
Well, a lot's happened since February. Obviously, when you interviewed me last time, Avenue Q was closing, and here I am, still in Avenue Q. It's still going. It's quite soon after you interviewed me, they announced that the show would be continuing, it wouldn't be closing, and would we be interested in doing the show. And of course, I'd been in the show quite a long time, so it's quite a tough decision whether to stay or whether to go. But, you know, I love the show, and it was only for another 6 months, and I thought, well, why not? I'm having a great time, and so here I am, continuing with the show.
Do you have to get used to the new environment, the John Gielgud Theatre?
Yeah, it took a while to get used to the new theatre. Obviously, it's a bit smaller backstage. It's a beautiful theatre. It was just weird walking off into the wings and seeing something different to what we're used to. And our dressing room was all being in different places and things. So that was weird. But and the sound was weird. The audience seemed much louder when they're laughing.
Another thing has happened. You're now on Twitter.
I've just been updating my Twitter about 10 minutes ago.
And is that fun? Why do people do that?
If I'm honest, when my website was redesigned by my friend, it's something he just added. He said, "Oh, let's add you on Twitter." I didn't know what it was.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't quite understand it. I still don't quite understand it, but I kind of get the gist. I find my updates are a bit boring because I can never think of what to write. And other people seem to write really clever things.
Most of Twitter posters share the world with their adventures on dance parties and movies they went to, but you have one motif.
Do I?
And that's food.
I've been told that.
You talk about Snacker Jacks.
Yeah, they're just behind you.
This one? No, those are rice.
No, that's Snacker Jacks. They're the big Snacker Jacks.
Okay. Ice cream, strawberry cheesecake.
Yeah. Cakes
and cupcakes.
Yeah.
What is that?
I like food. I hadn't realised I mentioned it so much. That's what I do. I tend to meet friends or my sister. I see a lot of me go and eat. I like to eat.
But it doesn't stick to you. All those excess calories.
I think it's because I sweat so much on this show. I just sweat it off.
Well, the main thing that happened to you between February and now is your album. What do you think of your album?
Am I allowed to say? It was a difficult process. It was something I've always wanted to do. I didn't quite realise how much stress it was going to cause me. It was very stressful. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. I loved being in the studio and I loved singing with this, 15-piece strings. But it was stressful in the fact that I was doing it all myself. I was producing it and paying for it, and it just became, every time I listened back to myself, I didn't know whether I was happy with it. I couldn't tell. I wanted someone else to tell me whether they liked it. Do you know what I mean? I can't really, I'm a terrible judge whether I think something's good or not, as in myself. So I was listening to it thinking, could I sing that better? I don't know. Is that am I out of tune on that bit? I don't know. So it was stressful, but ultimately, that's a very long answer, but ultimately I am happy with it, yes.
With the result?
Yes. And I'm happy that people seem to like it. That's a massive relief. And it's selling well, so all those things are good.
They don't make glass slippers. It's no great surprise.
I happen to have one little conversation with your co-producer.
Okay.
And this is what he told to me. He respects your talent, of course, but he was a bit afraid to say yes to your offer to help out. He didn't think he had the talent to match with your singing talent.
That's very him. He's the most ridiculously talented person, and yet he doesn't it doesn't have the self-belief, and it drives me. Sorry, my phone's vibrating with it. He doesn't have the belief. He's one of these people who I don't think he quite realises how talented he is, and of course I wanted him to be involved. You know, I love having him as the MD of this show, and I've known him for several years. He was the musical director for Sunset Boulevard as well, which I did. And I knew that he was the right person for the job, and I wouldn't have asked him if I didn't want him. So, but it's so him to say, "Oh, I'm not good enough."
Yes.
So.
But still, he had one point of critique.
Oh yes.
He told me you need to be reminded to tell the story to tell the story behind the song. Rather than enchant us with your beautiful voice.
Yeah, he did keep telling me that. He said sometimes he said I'm singing things too much, and I need to think about what I'm singing. I do worry that I want people to like how I'm sounding, if you like, rather than, I guess he's right. Rather than telling the story, I just want it to sound nice.
I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
You recorded this album yourself,
Yes.
Independently. How does one do that?
You need a lot of money.
Lots of money.
I'd saved up money for several years, actually, for a deposit for a house, and in the end I ended up spending that money on the album. I won't go into figures. It cost more than I ever imagined it would cost, but I never did it to make money. I purely did it because I wanted to do an album. I felt the time was right to do it, and I don't have any regret doing it.
You fill up my senses like a night in a forest.
When the album is completed, how do you succeed to get them into the shops?
It's difficult. I mean, still in the process of getting it into shops. I don't know whether it'll ever reach, high street shops. It's selling very well in a shop called Dress Circle here in London. It's about any second now to come available on iTunes and Amazon downloads and things like that. All our downloadable websites. Again, I'm thrilled that's happening. I really didn't know how it was going to sell. I was very nervous when I produced it. I did wonder how many I would sell, but it seems to be selling very well. So I'm very happy and relieved.
For you know better than I. You know the way.
And now is the time for your fans to watch you sing those songs live on stage.
Yes.
But you'll still be in this theater for doing MUQ, so...
I will. But there is an idea of doing a concert. It's something I'm in discussions with. It's not definitely happening. It's just something we've had an idea of, to obviously sing songs from the album and sing a few other numbers as well. But we'll see. It may be either later this year or early next year.
You are there when I most need you. You are there so constantly.
The last question. I observed you meeting your fans last night. There's a little bit of change. Now you're like royalty, standing on your spot, letting the fans come to you. A year ago, you walked to your fans. What has happened with you?
I'm embarrassed. I didn't know that happened. I get embarrassed at the stage door because unless someone says to me, "Can I have your autograph?" I don't want to be the one that goes to them and goes, "Oh, would you like it?" I just find that a bit embarrassing. So I guess I try and make contact with people, and if they ask me, then I'll sign something. But I still find it a bit awkward because they might not be there to see me. They might be there to see one of the other cast members. So I don't want to just assume people are there to see me. So maybe that's why I just tend to stand there looking a bit sheepish. I don't know.
Look like royalty then.
Oh well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
En Frans, wat vonden wij ervan?
Van Daniel Boyce of van zijn album?
Beide.
Oh, nou Daniel Boyce, daar hebben we het niet over. Zijn album, ja, ik heb hem sinds 1 juni. Hij is al die tijd in mijn auto geweest. Ik draai hem bijna elke dag. Ik moet je wel zeggen, hij groeit. Zoals ze zeggen, it'll grow on you. In eerste instantie zul je natuurlijk, en vooral wij Nederlanders, een beetje geërgerd zijn door al dat religieuze, inspirationele. Maar Luister daar dwars doorheen, want dit is jouw kans om Daniel Boyce te horen zingen. Zoals hij werkelijk zingt. Avenue Q is leuk, maar dat is natuurlijk nasaal en poppig zingen. Maar de ware Daniel Boyce vind je op So Close, zijn debuutalbum.